Welcome to Center Ice, the Hockey Alberta podcast, home to all things hockey in our great province. Now, here's your host, Ted Emmett.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Center Ice podcast. We did it. We made it. Episode 2, we're here. Thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to episode 1, which featured an in-depth look at the return to hockey plan with Hockey Alberta CEO Rob Litwinski. Lots of positive feedback and support on that one, so we really appreciate it, and we're excited to keep this thing rolling. I'm your host, Ted Emmett, and this episode has a bit of a different look to it than the last one. We were fortunate to be able to set up in Rob's office last time and chat with him face-to-face. But of course, with COVID-19, a little difficult to do in-person interviews all the time. So we're embracing the Zoom interview era, just like everyone else. And we're going to throw a couple different interviews in as the show rolls on. This episode, we're going to focus on the 2020 NHL Entry Draft, which went down last week, October 6th and 7th. We're also going to hear from a trio of Albertans who were drafted in the first round. We'll speak with best buddies Jake Neighbours and Ozzy Wiesblatt on their draft experiences. And we'll also hear an interview with Kaiden Guhle, which actually took place just before the draft. And a really interesting draft because, of course, it's a draft taking place at the beginning of October when the NHL season normally would start. And instead of seeing NHL prospects being called up on the stage one by one in Montreal, it was all done virtually and really well done. Because it was pretty cool to see kind of into the living rooms of these prospects. They got to celebrate with even more family than they normally would have. So again, a best of a bad situation there, and a huge couple of days for our province with 17 Albertans drafted to NHL teams, including 6 of them in the first round. I can only dig back so far. There's no way of knowing this for sure, but at least to the extent of my knowledge, which is probably pretty limited, but anyways, it's still the highest number of Albertans to go in the first round. Definitely the most I've seen in 5 years since I started here with Hockey Alberta and started following the draft every year, and a really good follow-up to last year as well when we saw 4 Albertans going in the first round. We follow the draft pretty closely every year. We love to celebrate our Alberta products taking the next step in their hockey journeys, and it's always amazing to see how far these players have come from their grassroots days. This year, the 17 players drafted come from 12 different minor hockey associations. 15 of them are alumni of the Alberta Elite Hockey League, and 10 played for Team Alberta. 9 of them played together in 2017, taking a silver medal at the WHL Cup, while Dylan Holloway, with a late birthday, was actually a member of the WHL Cup winning squad back in 2016. Before we chat with Ozzy Wiesblatt and Jake Neighbours, let's have a look at all 17 Albertans drafted this year and their roots and the path they took to the NHL. The first Albertan came off the board pretty early. Defenseman Jake Sanderson, the son of NHL veteran Jeff Sanderson, went 5th overall to the Ottawa Senators, which was actually the Sens' second selection in the top 5. Although he's now a member of the United States National Development Program, Sanderson actually grew up playing minor hockey for Springbank in Calgary. He suited up for the Calgary U15 AAA Flames of the AEHL and also the Edge School Elite 15s and prep teams of the Canadian Sports School Hockey League, and he was a member of that 2017 Team Alberta squad. Bragg Creek's Dylan Holloway next off the board at 14th to Edmonton, which means the former Calgary Flame of the AEHL is now an Oiler. Currently playing college hockey with the Wisconsin Badgers, Holloway also grew up playing for the Springbank Minor Hockey Association and played in the AEHL for the U15 AAA, U16 AAA, and U18 AAA Calgary Flames. The forward won gold with Team Alberta at the 2016 WHL Cup, as I mentioned, and was a standout for 2 seasons with the Okotoks Oilers of the Alberta Junior Hockey League, including his 2018-19 campaign, which saw him claim the AJHL and Canadian Junior Hockey League Player of the Year award. And just 2 picks later, the Montreal Canadiens selected defenseman Kaiden Guhle of the Prince Albert Raiders at 16. The Sherwood Park MHA product previously played in the AEHL for the Sherwood Park U15 AAA Flyers, as well as the OHA Edmonton Prep U15 and U18 teams in the CSSHL. And again, he was part of that 2017 Team Alberta squad, a trend we're going to keep seeing in the first round and beyond. The former first overall pick in the WHL Bantam Draft won a WHL championship with the Raiders in 2019, and some more NHL bloodlines at work there as well. His older brother Brendan was drafted in the second round by the Buffalo Sabres back in 2015 and now plays for the Anaheim Ducks. The aforementioned Jake Neighbours was the 4th Albertan drafted, as the Edmonton Oil Kings forward went 26th overall to the 2019 Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. The former 4th overall pick of the Edmonton Oil Kings played his minor hockey in Airdrie and played in the AEHL for the Airdrie U15 AAA Extreme and the Calgary U18 AAA Buffaloes. He was also the captain of that 2017 Team Alberta squad. 2 spots later, the Ottawa Senators, with their 3rd selection in the first round, selected Brandon Wheat Kings forward Ridley Gregg 28th overall, their 2nd Albertan in as many picks. Gregg came up through the Lethbridge Minor Hockey Association and suited up in the AEHL for the Lethbridge U15 AAA Golden Hawks and the U16 AAA and U18 AAA Hurricanes. And yeah, you guessed it, he played for Team Alberta back in 2017 as well. He's the son of former NHLer Mark Gregg, so again, seeing some strong Alberta hockey bloodlines in this group. Then with the 31st and final pick of the first round, the San Jose Sharks gave us all a very heartwarming moment when they selected forward Ozzy Wiesblatt, as Doug Wilson Jr. did so in sign language, a tribute to the family as Wiesblatt's mother is deaf. A teammate of Kaiden Guhle and Prince Albert, where the two won a WHL championship, the Calgary product spent his whole time in the Alberta Elite Hockey League with the Calgary Buffaloes Hockey Association, suiting up for the Calgary U15 AAA Bisons, the U16 AAA Blackhawks, and the U18 AAA Buffaloes. And of course, he played for Team Alberta at the 2017 WHL Cup. And after the stellar first round on the Tuesday night, we had to wait a bit on Wednesday morning to see when the next Albertan came off the board. And it wasn't until the 3rd round when the Nashville Predators selected Calgary Hitmen defenseman Luke Prokop, 73rd overall. Prokop, yet another Team Alberta alum from 2017, played his minor hockey in Edmonton and played for the CAC U15 AAA Canadians in the AEHL and the Northern Alberta Extreme Prep team in the CSSHL. And again, more family ties here, as Luke is the younger brother of another former Team Alberta player, Josh Prokop. And now on to the 4th round, where we saw a trio of Albertans selected, starting with another player with plenty of family ties to the game, defenseman Michael Benning. He's the younger brother of former Edmonton Oilers, now Nashville Predators blue liner Matt Benning, and the nephew of Vancouver Canucks general manager Jim Benning, and he was selected by the Florida Panthers with the 95th overall pick. Prior to 2 solid seasons with the Sherwood Park Crusaders of the AJHL, which included a nod as the AJHL and CJHL top defenseman, Benning played his minor hockey in St. Albert and suited up for the AEHL with the St. Albert U15 AAA Sabres and U16 AAA Flyers before heading to the CSSHL to play for the Northern Alberta Elite 15s and Northern Alberta Extreme Prep teams. And just 5 picks later, another great story of 2 lifelong friends realizing their dreams together, as Benning's fellow St. Albert native and Sherwood Park Crusaders teammate Carter Savoy was taken 100th overall by the Edmonton Oilers. You could basically copy and paste his hockey history here from Benning. It all kind of reads the same. He grew up in St. Albert, played for the U15 AAA Sabres in the AEHL. He played for the Northern Alberta Elite 15s and Northern Alberta Extreme Prep teams in the CSSHL. The forward has some hardware to his name as well, being named the AJHL and CJHL Rookie of the Year in 2019. And the next Albertan off the board was also the 3rd straight AJHL alum to go, as the New Jersey Devils took Spruce Grove Saints defender Ethan Edwards with the 120th pick. Just like Benning and Savoy, the Grand Prairie MHA product played for St. Albert in the AEHL with the U15 AAA Sabres and U16 AAA Flyers before playing in the CSSHL with the Northern Alberta Elite 15s and Northern Alberta Extreme Prep. So a pretty cool story in the 4th round here for those 3 Albertans and St. Albert natives for that matter. Lots of connections between the 3 there. Nothing doing in the 5th round, but in the 6th rounds, we saw 5 more Albertans hear their names called, beginning with Seattle Thunderbirds defenseman Tyrell Bauer, selected 164th overall by the Winnipeg Jets. It was nothing doing in the 5th round, but the 6th saw 5 more Albertans hear their names called, beginning with Seattle Thunderbirds defenseman Tyrell Bauer, selected 164th overall by the Winnipeg Jets. Bauer played his minor hockey in his hometown of Cochrane and played all of his club hockey in the Alberta Elite Hockey League with the Airdrie 15 UAAA Extreme, AC U16 AAA Avalanche, and Airdrie U18 AAA CFR Bisons. Bauer's Seattle teammate Matthew Rempe was off the board with the next pick, going 165th to the New York Rangers. The 6'8" forward and Calgary product has really worked hard to get to where he is today, playing U15 AA in Calgary before moving on to the AJHL with the Spruce Grove Saints and then making the move to the WHL last season with Seattle. We're going to get back to the Team Alberta alumni train again. Winnipeg Ice forward Connor McLennan was the next Albertan to go, selected by the Philadelphia Flyers with the 178th pick. McLennan came up through the Wainwright Minor Hockey Association and played in the CSSHL with the Northern Alberta Extreme Prep team. In another instant of back-to-back Alberta picks in the 6th round, the Washington Capitals selected Medicine Hat Tigers goalie Garen Bjorklund, 179th overall. The former Team Alberta netminder grew up playing minor hockey in Grand Prairie and played for the Grand Prairie U15 AAA Storm in the AEHL before a family move to Calgary saw him play for the U15 AAA Bisons and the U18 AAA Buffaloes. Bjorklund was the first, and as it would turn out, only Albertan goalie taken in the 2020 draft. Then, just 2 picks later, which resulted in a pretty busy span for Hockey Alberta's social media guy. At least that's what I've heard. The Ottawa Senators selected their 3rd Albertan in Brandon Wheat Kings forward Cole Reinhardt with the 181st pick. A native of Irricana, Reinhardt played in the Bicycle Minor Hockey Association and suited up in the AEHL for the Airdrie U15 AAA Extreme, the AC U16 AAA Avalanche, and the U18 AAA CFR Bisons. On to the 7th round now, where the San Jose Sharks took their 2nd Albertan in this draft, selecting Canmore Eagles forward Alex Young at 196. The Calgary product played his club hockey for the Calgary Royals program, suiting up with the CRAA White U15 AA team. It's a lot of letters here. We're going to throw a few more at you. The U15 AAA Royals, the CRAA Blue U16 AAA team, and the CRAA Blue U18 AA team. And to round things out, former Team Alberta defenseman Ronan Seeley was the 17th and final Albertan taken in the 2020 draft, going 208th overall to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Olds MHA alum played in the AEHL for the Red Deer U15 AAA Rebels and the Lethbridge U18 AAA Hurricanes. The 2018 TELUS Cup MVP just wrapped up his 2nd season with the Everett Silvertips in the WHL. And there you have it. There's a look at all 17 Albertans selected in the 2020 entry draft. Thanks for sticking with me through that. I know there's a lot, especially a lot of letters and abbreviations there, but really a true testament to not only the level of talent that exists in Alberta, but really the quality of development we're seeing across the province, starting right at the grassroots level. And sticking with our draft theme for this episode, and really to give you a break from hearing me talk, because you're probably a little sick of the sound of my voice by now. Now we're going to speak with a pair of Albertans who can call themselves first-round NHL draft picks. And we're joined now by 2 outstanding Albertans, very close friends who grew up playing together, both Team Alberta alumni, and now we can add NHL Draft Pick to both of their resumes, separated actually by just 5 picks. It's Jake Neighbours and Ozzy Wiesblatt. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us. Really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, excited to be here.
So first off, congratulations to you both. Jake being drafted by the St. Louis Blues 26th overall, and Ozzy just a couple picks later going to the San Jose Sharks 31st overall. Really amazing accomplishment, and obvious question, how does it feel to have your dreams realized and really to go not only in the NHL draft, but in the first round?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously it's something you grow up dreaming about as a kid, and been waiting for this day for a long time, and kept getting delayed a little bit with COVID and everything like that. So was just very, very excited to kind of get to that day, and obviously a great turnout. So
yeah, I think that Jake kind of nailed a couple points there, but I think it was a huge day for everybody's families too. I know Jake's parents have invested a lot of time in him, and my mom has been a big part of where I am. So, it was a big day for everybody.
And of course, it's fitting that you both were selected so closely together, just being such close friends. How much does it mean to each of you to be such a big part of each other's hockey journey and to be there and kind of arrive at the same place at the same time and share that with each other? Yeah,
it's special. I mean, we've been through basically everything together with hockey, and if it's Team Alberta events or Team Canada events, we're going through it together. So it's definitely made it easier to have somebody to talk to and go through it with. So
yeah, for sure. Like Ozzy said, I think getting to go through all these experiences with your best friend is definitely something you cherish. I think going through the prospects game and all that type of stuff, and then the draft, the Holinka, Obviously U16 with Team Alberta, and started it with the Buffaloes and midget. We've done a lot together with through the sport, and this was just another big one to add to the list.
And although you've played for opposite teams in the Western Hockey League, and you probably, unless the stars align and there's some divine intervention where you end up on the same team together in the future, you probably play against each other a lot. During the season, do you guys still lean on each other a lot, or are you kind of full compete mode and really just your opponents before your friends when the season's going on?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously we lean on each other for support as well as, we are competitors. I think, after every game, we're always texting each other, seeing how each other did. But, I don't think PA versus Edmonton's been the friendliest of games over the past couple of years. It's been, two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference going at it. So, it's always a good game with a lot of intensity. And, we tend to lean towards our intense and competitor sides more than our friendships during those games, I think. So
yeah, I think having a best friend and someone you train with every day that pushes you, I think I think we can both say we're very lucky to have that. So we're just very lucky to have two guys that are just as competitive with each other and want to win all the time. So.
And heading into the draft, any kind of friendly competition with who's going to go where, who's going to go first or anything like that? Or are you both really just looking forward to seeing where you each go, hoping you'll both be drafted?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to see Jake get picked ahead of me. So, it was, I'm happy for him, and, just about brought a little tear to my eye seeing him get picked. So, it was a special moment for him and his family. So, we're competitive, but also very supportive at the same time. So,
yeah, for sure. I think both of us were kind of hoping we would be the ones to go higher, but we knew going into it that we'd probably be pretty close in terms of numbers and where we were going. So, we were happy for each other, and I remember when I found out Oz was going, it was almost a bigger reaction from my family and I than when I went. So. We have very supportive families, and, obviously going both directions, we're happy for each other. So.
And Jake, I know every player says before the draft, and they obviously mean it, that they don't really care where they go. They're just going to be happy to be drafted. But now looking back, going to the St. Louis Blues, a great organization, just 2 years removed from a Stanley Cup. How excited are you to go to an organization like that? Yeah,
very, very excited. Obviously you listed a couple things there. Just came off being the Stanley Cup champions, and they still have a solid core of players there, and they're going to be competitive every year. So I'm very excited to get to go into an atmosphere like that where they know how to win, and a lot of veteran players in there. So I'm trying to go in there and be a sponge and really soak it all up. And I'm excited. I've heard the fan base is awesome, and the city is a great place to live. So I'm just really excited to get to go out there and hopefully see it all and get started. So.
Ozzy, 31st pick of the night on Tuesday in the first round, ended up being the most memorable of the night and probably the draft. A really touching gesture from Doug Wilson Jr. of the San Jose Sharks as he used sign language to announce you as their pick. How much does that mean to you, knowing that you're going to an organization that really cares about its players and its families to put the thought into something like that?
Yeah, I think that kind of shows you the class that organization has. I think that that was a very special moment for myself and my mom. But my mom constantly gets texts through the deaf community just saying how cool it was. So it's definitely something we'll never forget.
And a historic draft for the NHL, with it being all virtual. We saw the NFL do it a few months ago. Can you take us through the process a little bit of what that was like? Obviously a little disappointing not being in Montreal and walking the stage as you see happen in the first round, but it turned out to be a pretty cool night. Really a lot of great moments, seeing people celebrate with their families. So can you take us through a little bit about what the setup was like and what it was like being a part of that?
Yeah, definitely. I think kind of my day was, my thoughts going towards it was just to spend it with the people I was closest with. And, so I had my immediate family there, and, just really wanted to enjoy the day with them. And, we all got there and just, patiently waited and watched and, tried to enjoy the moment as much as we could, as it, it obviously only happens once. And then, once we saw Oz went 31, immediately got out and went to his house to see him. So met up with him later and celebrated with his family as well.
Yeah, it was a special time for me too. We had my families, all my brothers, and my brother's friends. So and we've along the way we've been lucky enough to have so many families that have helped us out through our kind of journey, I guess, and a lot of people that have helped us, and we definitely wouldn't be where we are without them. So we've had a lot of families help us.
And you talk a lot about how excited you were to see each other be drafted and how excited your families were for each other. Can you talk a bit more about your friendship? Obviously people have a lot of people that they lean on, and with the two of you, it sounds like you really went through a lot together. Can you kind of share what it was like growing up together and your hockey journey together?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I haven't really had a friend that, is as competitive as Jake is, and that wants to beat me in literally every single thing. So, it's fun, and it's definitely shaped me into the person I am today. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think ever since we met, we just kind of hit it off right away. We started talking. We were about 14, 13, I think, is when we, first started chatting, and, finally got to meet each other at the Calgary Buffaloes tryouts. And I guess the rest is history. We just kind of hit it off right away, and, basically did everything together, and I became this guy's Uber. So, proud to be it though. And, looking forward to more Uber rides.
And an incredible year for Albertans at the draft. The two of you were among the 6 Albertans drafted in the first round and 17 taken overall through all 7 rounds of the draft. With both of you growing up playing hockey in Alberta, being a part of the Team Alberta programs, how does it speak to the level of skill and development that we see in Alberta year after year?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously got the chance to play in a couple, Hockey Alberta tournaments growing up, the PB Prospects Cup, the Alberta Cup, and obviously moving on to the WHL Cup. And every time you go there's obviously an elite amount of talent. And, Alberta's always producing some pretty high-level hockey players. So, that definitely speaks to the program they got going on right now. I know, Guhle and Ridley Gregg and a couple of our buddies we grew up playing with, to get to see us go in the first round, and even every guy after that is just, an attest to Hockey Alberta's program.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going with things like the top 80 and even the PB Prospects Camp, I mean, they prepare you for hockey, and whether it's nutrition, dieting, or even off ice workouts, I think that they really prepare you for it, and they get you ready for the next level. So.
And we mentioned with the draft going in October, which is pretty weird, a little bit different look for you guys. Normally, you'd be drafted in June. You'd have your summer to, relax a bit, work out, get ready for the season. And then right around this time, hockey would be starting again. What do the next few months look for each of you with the different look to really everything in life right now?
So I think, the plan is to just, continue to train and skate and, try to incorporate some rest as well. I think, trying to stay as fresh as possible and, ready for what opportunity, becomes for a chance for us to get to play again. So, we're just kind of waiting on that. It's been a long summer, and, got through the draft and all this. So just kind of looking forward to getting back to playing with our clubs and, continue to train for the rest of the time being.
Yeah, kind of what Jake said, just staying in shape and, always being ready for when the season might start up, or, different opportunities, wherever that might be. So, just staying ready and keeping your body healthy, and, at the same time getting a lot of rest so you don't overwork yourself.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to let you go. I'll let you get on with your evening here. Really appreciate you doing this, though. I know you've probably done a lot of interviews in the last few weeks. So again, from everyone at Hockey Alberta, congratulations and best of luck heading into the season.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
A huge thank you again to Jake Neighbours and Ozzy Wiesblatt. I can't say it enough. A great story with both of those players and their journey to the NHL, and just a small example of all the outstanding players our province churns out every year. We're going to take a quick break from all the draft talk, as obviously there's a lot more going on around Alberta, so here's what you need to know. Hockey Alberta released an update to the Return to Hockey plan on October 2nd with a couple of key revisions, including updated timelines and program options for all levels of hockey, and new information on the Return to Hockey plan for on-ice officials. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you head to hockeyalberta.ca, give it a read, get up to speed. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but I guess I'm a poet and didn't realize it. Coach clinics and officials clinics are ongoing throughout the province still, so make sure you head to our website, have a look for a clinic near you. Coach clinics are still running at half capacity to allow for social distancing and a safe environment for everyone involved, so make sure you sign up before it's too late. And another reminder too, to make sure your coach qualifications are up to date. So head to the coaches section on hockeyalberta.ca. Make sure you're all up to date and aren't missing anything. And you know what? Those coach clinics might even help you earn a nod as Coach of the Month. Nominations now open for Hockey Alberta's Coach of the Month program, presented by Players Bench Team Apparel. One minor hockey coach will be selected each month to be featured on our website, and will receive a coaching package valued at over $500. So if you know a coach who makes a big difference in your community, make sure you get that nomination in. Coaches not selected each month will still be eligible moving forward until the end of the 2021 season. That's what you need to know. As always, head to hockeyalberta.ca for more information on any of the aforementioned subjects. Switching gears now back to the draft, and as I mentioned earlier, I had the opportunity to speak with defenseman Kaiden Guhle the night before the NHL draft, where he ended up going 16th overall to the Montreal Canadiens the next night. Keeping in mind this all went down before the draft, here's that interview. Joining us now is Prince Albert Raiders defenseman, a 2020 NHL draft prospect, Kaiden Guhle, and a big resume here, obviously. Team Alberta alumni. He's a WHL champion, ranked 8th overall amongst North American skaters in NHL Central Scouting's final draft rankings back in April, and pretty soon we're going to be able to add a NHL prospect to that list. Kaiden, again, thank you so much for doing this. I know you're a busy guy. We're less than 24 hours away from the draft, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. It means a lot.
So first off, it's a pretty obvious question with an obvious answer, but how do you feel going into the draft? You know, at least at this point in your hockey journey, it's pretty much the pinnacle. So, what kind of emotions you feeling right now?
Yeah, I think I'm just a lot more excited than anything. Waited a long time for this. Got pushed back a bit. I think I can speak for every kid that's saying we're just happy to finally have it here, and finally happy to get things started. And I think I'm very excited. Obviously nerves are there, but right now I'm not feeling them a whole lot. I bet tomorrow when I wake up and getting up early and waiting the whole day for it to happen, I'm sure nerves will come pretty strong. But right now I think my mom's a lot more nervous than me. So it'll be fun. I'm really excited for it. So.
And this draft, you know, maybe for a lot of the wrong reasons, but one way or another, this draft is going to be a historic one for the NHL. And as you already said, you know, it's a little different. Normally you'd be in Montreal right now, going to the Bell Center tomorrow night to hear your name called. So it's a little different, but I guess even from what you've seen, if you watch the NFL draft, kind of a cool, different process to be a part of that's going to be remembered forever.
Yeah, I think in a way it works out. I know if I was going to Montreal, you could only bring a handful of family members. You don't want to, pack the whole thing. And I think it works out in a way. I'm having 15 people come to my house tomorrow. So I'll have a lot of people there that support me throughout my whole hockey career. And that have been huge, and the reasons why I'm there at that, right, why I'm here today. So in a way it works out that they're all there to support me. And it'll be a very exciting time, and I'm really happy to get to celebrate with all of them.
And not sure how much you can share with us or not, but again, with it being a virtual draft, how does the setup look for that in terms of you waiting for your name to be called, and what's the process that you've had to go through so far, or will have to go through leading up to the draft?
It's just I think they're just gonna have 40 kids, around 40 kids on a big Zoom call, and you just kind of sit there and wait for your name to be called, much so like the NFL draft. It'll be very, very fun. And like I said earlier, everyone's going to be there that supported me my whole career. So I think it'll just be like that, pretty similar to the NFL draft. I think the NFL draft obviously does it really well. So I think the NHL is trying to maybe find ways to do it like them. So it'll be very exciting.
And you've had a couple more months than any other draft year for draft prospects. What is that whole process looking like? Obviously, probably everything was virtual, meetings with teams, your whole preparation up to the draft day. What did that look like? Yeah,
like you said earlier, or like you just said, it was a lot of virtual meetings, a lot of Zoom calls. But I mean, obviously, you'd like to meet the teams in person, and if we were in Montreal, maybe you'd meet a couple of teams right before, just like a last kind of chat and whatever. So. I think just a lot of Zoom calls. It's been obviously a big honor to talk to all those teams. Maybe in wherever I'm going to pick, you never know where you're going to go to. So got to leave a good impression on all of them, and just hopefully show my personality and show what type of person I am, and hopefully they like that. So just a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of phone calls. So it's been a really fun process.
And I can only imagine, especially the next 24 hours for you waiting, kind of finding out where your next step in your hockey journey is going to take you. But your brother Brendan was drafted in 2015 by the Buffalo Sabres. So he's kind of been through that process. How much have you leaned on him? He's got, I think, almost 60 NHL games under his belt now as well. He's with the Anaheim Ducks. How much has his journey and his experience helped you get ready for this?
Yeah, no, he's been massive. I'd be lying if I said he wasn't the biggest reason for me. He's the reason I picked up a hockey stick. Watched him growing up. I've always wanted to kind of follow his footsteps in that way, and he's been huge for my hockey career. And he's talked to me a lot about this whole draft process, all the ups and the downs, and teams maybe trying to get under your skin, see how you react. Just trying to keep me level-headed through the whole thing, and he's been huge for me. He's a big reason why I'm here today for sure.
And you obviously don't have to name any names, but is it hard leading up to it, not thinking, oh, what if this team or what if that team, or leaning towards a certain team, or are you just kind of ready to roll with it and see where the draft takes you?
Yeah, I think I'm more just ready to roll with it. I'm happy with it, whatever team picks me. I have no preference, no preference to where I go. I think any team that picks me, I'm very lucky to be that pick. I'm not a picky person at all. I'd love to be part of any NHL team. So I think I'm more just going to roll with it. Just kind of see where it all goes, and whatever team takes me, I'll be very, very happy and very thrilled to be picked by them.
And obviously, everyone in Alberta, everyone at Hockey Alberta, proud to see where you've come and where that you're about to be drafted. And also quite a few fellow Albertans as well. Some of your Team Alberta alumni, people you maybe played with or against growing up in the WHL, and even teammate, Ozzy Wiesblatt. For that one, is there any kind of bit of friendly competition there? Obviously, you're probably both excited that you can both go in the same draft. Has there been any communication there? And I imagine maybe some during the draft as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely text him during the draft. We've definitely talked about it, and just kind of leaned on each other, like you said. We were definitely communicating a lot about this, and I think there's maybe a little friendly competition. We're both pretty competitive guys. We like to go at it in practice, and like to make each other mad. So we both compete very hard. We both want to make each other better. It's the only way you're going to do it. So I'll definitely shoot him a text, see how he is on draft day. I'm sure he'll be pretty nervous, just like me. So it's good to get to go through that with him, and get to go through the whole experience with one of my best buddies. So.
Well, again, as I mentioned, it's a pretty busy time for you. We won't take up too much of your time. Really appreciate, though, you taking the time to do this interview with us and talk a bit about the draft. It's always nice to kind of get that inside look and a sneak preview of what the draft is going to look like. So on behalf of everyone at Hockey Alberta and really everyone in Alberta, best of luck to you. We're really looking forward to hearing your name called. And thank you again for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It means a lot.
Another great Alberta kid there in Kaiden Guhle, just a poised, mature young man, and I think the Canadians are getting a pretty top-notch player in him. And with that, that'll just about do it for episode 2 of Center Ice. Thank you so much again for tuning in. A reminder that new episodes are going to drop on the first and third Thursday of every month. So subscribe now on your favorite podcast app.
and you can also catch us on YouTube. Thanks again to Jake Neighbours, Ozzy Wiesblatt, and Kaiden Guhle. And as always, a big thank you to producer Steve Mack. For the Center Ice Podcast, I'm Ted Emmett. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Center Ice Podcast. For this episode and more, head to hockeyalberta.ca. If there's a topic you'd like covered on an upcoming episode, email info@hockeyalberta.ca.